feel like Master Duel is like one of those games they would give to people. They would force people to play. And like if Master Duel was around in Vietnam, they would force people to play Master Duel with the POWs. Some of these like in every game would just be Maxx C. It's not that bad, but like I don't know. This game is like the game that just like keeps on giving, in my opinion, with some of the things. I mean, to be fair, one of these were just like to misclick, but like the other games was just like, okay, you get slammed, you get slammed, you get slammed. I was gonna say my dad would disagree. And I always make the distinction and say it's Master Duel because you can play TCG, and honestly, TCG is just a fun time. The issue with TCG is there's no good simulator. I mean, there's Dueling Book, but Dueling Book makes me fall asleep. I still like Dueling Book, but like I can't grind Dueling Book. Like I don't have the attention span to grind Dueling Book. That'd be too lenient. They would be forced to play against floodgates with no breakers. Yeah, something like that, dude. I kind of want to try out the Mitsu stuff, but like I'm like really not caring too much to do that. Rhyme Style put well when he said the game is still in beta with the horrible ban list and actually no alt game modes. The game's been out for 5 years, so that's a weird thing to call a beta. It's just like a real lack of creativity on the OCG side with the Yu-Gi-Oh IP as always. I'll be right back. They just add new cards and just completely rely on the new cards to carry like the progression of the game instead of just new features, like any normal game development team would be doing with a game as a live service, trying to improve their game and add features. But we are like 5 years into Master Duel and there are no new features outside of like quizzes. Like, woo, quizzes, cool. Literally just something that should be like patched into something at most. They also haven't figured out how to balance the best of one format in the slightest. Yeah. Whoops, I meant to go Cartesia. Oh well. You say there's no new features, but what's your MD proficiency test rank? Says Blue. Dude, you read my mind on that, Blue. This is just a cash cow, says Nibiru token. Yeah. For the most part, that's what Master Duel is. I just wish that the TCG got a simulator like Master Duel. It will always just make zero sense to me that they just defer to Dueling Book to give people a simulator instead of making their own for TCG. And then they ban you from being a content creator for Konami if you use Dueling Book. Like Farfa couldn't do Dueling Book content when he was sponsored, right? Like that's just a thing. Except that they just let it be a thing, and while they don't make a simulator, it's, I don't know, man, about that logic, but that's just me. This is not a good situation. Omega over DB. Omega got ruined though. The devs aren't making it better. They refuse to make the replay system better. And the replay system is why Omega is not good, because as long as Dueling Book has a better replay system than Omega, they're like, you can't share replays. Like, it should just be exactly like Dueling Book is the gold standard for replays, and that's why Dueling Book is so good in my opinion. And if Omega's not gonna have like a good replay system, and if they're gonna refuse to make one, then that get it. And then they also made it so it has 45-minute time limit. I'm sorry, but there should not be a time limit on ranked duels in Omega. It's like this, like that's what actually was the final nail in the coffin. There's just no point in playing Omega anymore. Like Dueling Book, at least I can like, I don't mind having like a 55-minute game in Dueling Book if it's a good back and forth, right? MD Pro 3 is literally Temu Master Duel and somehow better by just virtue of the devs giving a shit. I'll give it this. I don't think it's even better though, because they refuse to make a downloadable client that's actually like good. Like, I've tried to download MD Pro 3 like 2 or 3 times before. It just doesn't work because like the EXE downloadable file for the game is not good. Like there's so much work you have to put in to make that program actually like, and I'm someone who like, I'm not even like bad with like computers or anything. It's just like, what the fuck? Like, am I just like missing something? Like, it should just be like Omega where you go to the website, download it, and you have a client immediately. Like, it's really absurd, the process of having to download that game. So that's why I don't play it. I'd love to support that game, but if they can't make a client that's easily downloadable, I don't know how that game will ever take off. So we're left with having, and like it shows too, whenever I put on Master Duel on my streams, like the stream numbers cut in half. Like no, like Dueling Book is not a good viewing experience. It's just kind of archaic. Like, and I'm someone who generally enjoys Dueling Book because it still feels like Yu-Gi-Oh, but it just takes too long, and like also the fact that rulings can't be checked in real time and you have to wait for a judge is just like one of the worst issues of the whole game. Yeah, you need to download OG MD Pro 3 and then download every patch in order. See, that's absurd. Like, I'm sorry, who has time for that? Ah, we get FTK. Good. And also, I remember doing that, and I downloaded the patches wrong, apparently, right after taking 20-30 minutes out of my day to, like, watch a tutorial and figure it out. Still didn't work. It's just like, am I supposed to, like, invest, like, fucking 5 hours into this, program that's just gonna get, like, taken down by Konami at some point? I don't know if that's even possible with how it is, but it looks amazing. I wish I had MD Pro 3. That'd be great for content. It's just annoyed me enough to where I don't give a shit anymore. Or have an option to play TCG and MD, OCG and MD. Well, the reason they don't do that is because Master Duel player numbers aren't what they used to be. You know? So they're like, oh, we're going to split up the player base, which you would. Like, you know, half the people would be on, like... And the issue with that, too, is, like, then you would have to make an OCG queue, and then it's just like, what's the point of the Master Duel format? It's just like the cardinal sin of Master Duel, like not just having it be TCG OCG. Like they should have just done that from the start. They wanted to have a combined format for some absurd reason. It's like, yeah, let's go back to 2007 when ban lists sucked. YuGiOh Pro having a completely different website name and looking like a virus site doesn't help them. Does YuGiOh Pro look like a virus website? Jelly Pally, if Maxx C resolves, the game is probably unplayable. Same as often true for Furua. Did my opponent go first? Flip summon the most floodgates that can't be outed. See, this is where I was getting to with Yu-Gi-Oh! At the end of last format before the ban list, because that is what Yu-Gi-Oh! Is becoming, and Master Duel even extenuates that on some level. But it's like, okay, so did you draw Fua going second? Did your opponent out it or not? Right? Are you going first? Did you get Fua? Do you have a way to out it? Do you have a floodgate to play around it? Like, that is Yu-Gi-Oh! Broken down on a simplified level at the moment. For 50% of games, because of everyone having 3 Fua, 2 Maxx C, or in the TCG, 3 Fua, and then 3 Meowls on their side, right? Fua more so than Meowls. I won't lie, Meowls and Perulia, if we were only dealing with those, I think the Molcharmies wouldn't be an issue. I think Perulia and Meowls are largely fine. I think they are worse than Droll, frankly, as like comparing the cards. And Fuwa's just better than Droll, and Droll's already one of the most absurd cards in the game. So I don't know, like, we're gonna turn this into a rant video because I've just been ranting at this point, as I'm getting FTK'd by Ryzeal Onamat. They're not gonna FTK me at least, but you know, Konami, you should really be making a TCG simulator for the game. I think a lot of people would appreciate it. Like, that would be the next greatest like, Konami's been hitting it out of the park with all the requests. Well, like, why has the community gone completely silent on wanting a simulator? Like, I know everyone likes Dueling Book, but, like, let's be real. Are we really going to be using Dueling Book for the next 20, 30 years? Like, we need a simulator for Yu-Gi-Oh! For the longevity of the game. like for the TCG, if we want the TCG to be a thing. And then you could add Genesis in there, right? You could do online tournaments through the client. At this point, they should just make a TCG client, like, and drop fucking Master Duel, like, at this point. Or, sorry, not drop Master Duel, but keep Master Duel as its own separate thing. Because I don't think you can add TCG to the Master Duel without just, like, fundamentally breaking Master Duel and what it's trying to do. Like, it's trying to be its own game. If you add TCG to Master Duel, that's not Master Duel, right? If that makes sense. And that's just kind of what they want for the game, right? I don't agree with that. When Master Duel first came out, I thought it was going to be a collection of every format and the master simulator for Yu-Gi-Oh, but that's not what they want. They want Master Duel to be its own format, its own game, its own meta, its own thing, right? And if that's the case, like, I just, like, hoping for TCG and OCG to come there is, like, probably not the play, and we should put our energy into asking Konami to make a client for TCG. Like, you don't have to get OCG in this, right? Like, you could just do this through the TCG. I don't know if OCG would approve it, but, like, at this point, it's like, don't you want your game to be popular, like, on Twitch? Like, Master Duel was already pretty cool, but it's just, like, Dueling Book... TCG does not exist on Twitch. TCG does not exist on YouTube Live outside of, like, the the few small channels that stream their locals, and, like, Distant Coder doing his IRL TCG content, or, like, you know, just like the stuff we cover here. It's just like, in live streaming Yu-Gi-Oh, like, video games or like an IP or like a series is so important to the organic growth of a game. And there's just, like, none of that with Yu-Gi-Oh TCG. And it's like, they're really just coasting off of the few new players they get. You know, so old players leave every year because of new bullshit. New players come in because they're like, oh, this is a cool card game. It's actually very fun. But it's like, it's still, like, up and down, like, slightly going up over time kind of thing. It's just not exactly what you want. Also, I'm getting fucking hand ripped. The decks that I like to play get wrecked by Meowls. I just think Fu is, like, way too generic. Like, Fu is good against everything outside of Monarchs. So I just, like, lose with this hand, right? Like, the OCG has showed themselves, like, they cannot ban Maxx C. I don't know what it is. Like, did Kazuki Takahashi write it in his will that Maxx C cannot be banned? Like, after a certain point, you have to, like, they obviously get the feedback, right? Like, okay, well, we lost. That was a fun cutscene. I think we're on my rank down now. Awesome. Like, I can't even blame anybody for, like, complaining about Master Duel, just because this game is, like, the only thing we have. It's like, so it's like, you know, gotta deal with what you got, basically. I hate the fact that it has Worlds for it for Master Duel. I mean, I think that the Worlds race is one of the cooler things, I guess, even though it's basically a fucking, just a glorified, just whoever can stay up for 72 hours and shave years off their life. Like, oh, we losing Dyro on the... I'm just gonna get off the Master Duel for demoting here. I'm, like, actually just... This game is absolutely horrific, honestly. And talking about it more has just made me not want to play it. Like, I'd rather play Genesis right now, like, and play a die roll simulator playing Branded right now, since the deck can't win going second unless you just sack and your opponent fucking draws weak. Also, yeah, fuck GitHub links. I'm so, like, are we all supposed to be coders out here? Like, GitHub is one of the most annoying websites I've ever experienced, I'm not gonna lie. That's like, if you do not know how, like, if you haven't taken, like, 5 coding classes, that website just does not work for normal human beings. I mean, I guess I'd roll here. What's up, Franz Tamba? Need to see some epic Branded plays. Honestly, I'm just gonna probably swap to burst protocol testing after this, but we'll see how that goes. If you guys want to see that. Because I can show you guys a game from earlier that was actually really fun. TCG just being far more tolerable, in my opinion, than just, like, the Maxx C slot machine. Like, this just doesn't feel like a game where, like, I have much say in, like, the outcome of my games unless I'm running one of the top like 3 or 4 decks that they have been pushing through their like selection packs, so you buy their gems. Like, I could have just been playing Malice, but also like that's not fun to me. I play Yu-Gi-Oh because I like Branded at this point. Like, I stopped playing Genesis because Branded became a deck that is really just kind of a fun deck in that format now, in my opinion. Like, it's still usable, but if you're trying to win a YCS with Branded, like, you will not. Like, I will pay someone $1,000 to win Branded with these kind... If someone wins a Genesis Invitational at a YC... Like, an American or European YCS, I will give that person $1,000 if they win it, if they do it under the current point, the current point economy. Like, let's just say next list, they don't even update it. And if you go win it, I will give you $1,000. Like, I on God. Like, it's just like that deck is not actually serious anymore, unfortunately, for that format. That's literally how I felt yesterday, where 7 out of my 10 games were just not affected by my input at all. That's just like the worst part about Master Duel by far. I don't see why Konami wait, like, doesn't kind of just like make the game actually fun. I'm just trying to think. High Spirits or Mag here? It's probably just, or Mag or Requiem. That's why, like, when people are like, why not 2 graying? Why not like this? Why not that in Master Duel deck building? At the end of the day, dude, like, you're just rolling the dice on if your build is going to line up into the decks you play that day. Like, without a side deck, frankly. Like, you're really just like playing the slots. With how it feels like, and more so with Branded because you have less non-engine, and like the game is just like, modern Yu-Gi-Oh is literally just like hand trap wars. Like, that is like the dynamic that is being pushed versus actual card interaction. Like, I guess main deck engine, you know. I think with only 9 hand traps, it wasn't like that. Like, when decks could only main 9 hand traps, that was not the case. Like, this is a new thing. This is a new thing for sure. And hand traps have been out for over a decade plus, so it's like, this is not something that needs to be the case, in my opinion. Like, I do not have fun with this game when it's just like Maxx C called by. Like, this is why, like, I used to complain about called by all the time, because it's just negative interaction. And now with Ash Blossom being absolutely required for every single deck, as if it wasn't before, because of Fuwalos, and then Fuwalos being necessary for every deck, and now Droll being necessary for every deck because of Fuwalos and Mitsurugi. I think I know some people might not agree with this, but if Mitsurugi was not a deck, I think people would still be running Droll, or it would still be correct to run Droll because of Fuwalos. If you are running a deck that, like, you can Droll yourself, and it's fine. Because not every deck can do that, but... Yeah, remember in Snake Eye format, Droll is still a strong hand trap? Was that with Fuwalos in Snake Eye format? Because, yeah. I think Fuwalos would have made Snake Eye format better, frankly, if in the part of it where there was no Fuwalos. But that's... I think Fuwalos, or Snake Eye literally got Fuwalos printed. Like, without Snake Eye being pushed that hard, I don't think Fuwalos gets printed. Fuya is a healthy card and a more necessary evil than Droll. I tend to disagree with that, but also... with how pushed the power of the game is, sure. I just think there should not be Fuwalos with other Mulcharmies if we're doing that. Because, like, Fuwalos on top of Meowl is just crazy. Or Fuwalos plus Maxx C. It's just like, I don't know. The cards could get limited or semi-limited, and I think they would be fine. I just think the game is quite literally decided to those cards now. Also, why is this in defense position? It doesn't matter. I wasn't getting through this anyway, but... I mean, that's why I think they printed Fuwalos, because they were like, oh, the game's getting too pushed now. Which is weird to me, because Maxx C exists. So, like, why did we need the... like, Maxx C exists. Like, where they... I guess they were like, yeah, we fucking miss Maxx C, dog. Well, at least we won this fucking rank down game. Maybe we can stay on Master Duel. Because it's so easy to talk on Master Duel, I'm not gonna lie. I can't do this on DB. This is, like, literally impossible to do on DB. which is why I don't like streaming DB mainly. Like, I don't care about stream numbers, frankly. I like to stream something that people are going to enjoy, and the fact that, like, no one likes watching DB is definitely a factor in me not streaming DB, but, like, it's mainly because I can't just, like, focus on a DB game and not misplay, and then, like, it's already tough to do that on Master Duel, right? Also, shout out to Vice Cake, man. What? Oh, this game. I should have waited. Yeah, I guess I should have waited. But also, if he's only one card, it's like fine. Have you tried Dueling Nexus? Yeah, and then Dueling Nexus was very cool until I found out it's like basic. And like, shout out to the guy who does it, but I think it's. Wait. Oh, this. Oh, fuck me. This is not good. I don't know what his other card in hand is. It really just depends. Does he have Maiden in rotation? He does not. This is the game that keeps on giving. Holy fuck, Blue Eyes. I just got sacked. Oh my god. Top deck Sage. Let's get it. I actually can't even with this game. Yeah, Dueling Nexus is not good though, because they don't update their rulings fast enough when the set comes out. I remember like Lubellion or like Grand Guignol wasn't even working on it the one day. Or no, the Draco Tal cards didn't work properly. I remember when they first got released, and that just really turned me off from the game. Hold by Sage, like... Blue Eyes players just like... I see why this deck won German Nats. Like... like 2 formats removed from when it was best deck. Like I genuinely understand. Like, this deck just fucking sacks out of its mind with its top decks. It's crazy. Some of the best top decks I've ever seen in a deck. And also just like the simplicity of the deck that like with the grind game is just so crazy. I think I'm fine though because I just banished the Maiden, but I would use Dueling Nexus. It also has the issue where it's kind of like DB. It's just boring to look at. It's not a good spectator esport or platform for Yu-Gi-Oh. Fua just felt like a less ass replacement for Maxx C. By the way, you can use 2 Fuas in a turn. You can't use 2 Maxx Cs in a turn. I know Fua is apparently the worst Maxx C, but it has aspects to it that are better than Maxx C, which is absurd to me. Like, also, this is where Stapelia comes up once again, but I literally just cannot, like, fit enough cards to make my deck not just, like, randomly lose to matchups because that's a Master Duel diff. I'm honestly getting to the point where I'm probably just gonna quit streaming Master Duel because the game does not make me happy, obviously. And the new ban list, frankly, are not going to solve the issues I have with the game at all. Like, I think Jeff the Person Man was saying this on Twitter, but like he had a really good point about this. I don't even know who the hell this guy is. But he usually comes through my algorithm when I'm hating Master Duel, so because he's also a Master Duel hater. I'm sure there's some people who will celebrate this random Christia ban, but we've just rotated Malice and Gem Knight for White Forest and Draco Tal. Still have Moon and Unlimited Mitsu. Okay, well, actually, I kind of disagree with the White Forest because White Forest, it sucks going second, but I don't know. They also get to run Hella Non-Engine. But MD still has the same build of board level powers, just new faces. I mean, I agree with that 100%. And then also Draco Tal, when that comes out next month, apparently. Definitely is not going to fix that situation, in my opinion, with Draco Tal just making an absurd board, being able to also loop Maxx C. It's like, I don't know. I think Master Duel is just kind of too far gone on some level. Kaiba Man is the only Blue Eyes tuner that can't start combo if he's on 3 Spear and Crimson. He doesn't run 2 Tyrant. I mean, it doesn't matter. He was still able to just get me. Actually, no, I got timered. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I'm done with Master Duel for the format. Like, it's absolutely one of the worst formats I've ever played for Master Duel. At least, like, Malice will be somewhat checked, but guess what? Malice will still be good, right? Like, I don't know. By the way, when will you collab with April? Every time I want to collab with April, I just end up, like, not wanting to play Master Duel. So, like, it feels weird to, like, because she's primarily a Master Duel. I mean, I guess, like, it would still be good to talk with her about some of the new cards, just to see her thoughts on it. But Master Duel is just, like, it's very difficult for me to like that game for a prolonged period of time with how bad the format is. Malice can't play through hand traps anymore. I mean, damn, it sucks. I play the deck where I can barely fit hand traps to save my life until the new support comes out. Which, this deck fixes the issues Branded has in the current format, you know, in my opinion. Like, let's see. Hand traps galore. 3 Droll, 3 Bestial, 3 Ash, 3 Fua, 3 Super Poly, 40 cards, clean as fuck. Like, this is exactly what I want out of Branded, and I cannot get this in current Branded. And some people are like, oh, you're taking away options from the deck, and I just think you're adding the ability to go second and actually win very consistently through your hand traps alone, which, once again, as we've been going over, that is the name of the game with Yu-Gi-Oh! At the moment. I just think your deck is objectively worse if you're not able to play that hand trap minigame, because the game is currently designed around that. Like, obviously, there are certain builds that will end up working, but even, like, Triff's 60-card pile ran hand traps. Like, it ran, I think, like, 9 Mulcharmies or something like that. Like, you still need to see these cards. And he was only able to do that because he was playing, I think, the best deck in the room. You know, there's a reason why 60-card Branded isn't running Rough Shot anymore. Why 4 Bestials post B-Pro deck? I mean, Bestials are quite good into the meta, but also they work out for your... And they're just good cards in your deck. Bestials are always good. And they're kind of combo extenders on some level. I'm also running Chaos Angel, which is really good for going second. You can make, like, a Chaos Angel and then go into Ecclesia. So a Chaos Angel helps you break boards with the Synchro line, in my opinion. I don't like DB since you have to do everything manually, allows cheating, acting stupid. I agree, but also, like, Yu-Gi-Oh! Is a game where you have to know what cards do on some level, so, like, the information check I can never really fault, because, like, at some level you're kind of like... I mean, obviously that's just, like, it's to simulate the card game, right? So, it's just annoying, though. I agree. Like, it's... I don't know. It's just not ideal. I just don't think it's, It's very unapproachable for casual players, I think, Dueling Book a lot of the time. Whereas, like, Master Duel is very approachable because of the sleek design, automatic nature. And to be honest, like, automatic kind of... There's pros and cons, like being able to take back your plays because you misclick. Because I hate being... Misclicking on Master Duel, you guys saw it before. I literally just lost a game to misclicking on Master Duel, which just led to my rank down. Like, shit like that is just, like, extraordinarily frustrating. And that's also why I don't like YuGiOh Omega, because it's just, like... so many misclicks on that platform because of how the UI is too. At least the Master Duel UI is pretty good at not getting misclicks, but, like, the graveyard being next to the end phase is also is pretty shit. I'm not gonna lie, because you can just double click on accident if you have, like, a shaky hand like I do, and then that just happens. Like, you should have to double click, I guess, on, like, end phase and stuff like that. But then they just didn't remove Maxx C at all from the formats that had it. Well, that was the craziest part. Like, when Fua got released, everyone was like, they're gonna just ban Maxx C, right? I think Fua released over a year and a half ago in the OCG. How's that going? Apo got banned before Maxx C. Baron got banned before Maxx C. In the OCG. Crazy. Which, to be fair, it means, like, they're just... maybe getting to it eventually, but I don't know what, like, the wait is. Like, when will the 2 new cards from Chronicles for Brandon and Master Duel? I have no clue. I'm assuming they're gonna do them all as a new branded pack with the Fallen and the White. I'll show you guys a replay from earlier that was really cool. I posted it on the Discord, so if you're in the Discord, you already saw this. I'm probably gonna record this as a commentary too, because I think it's, like, a really good display of, like, how to play the Synchro line and, like, why the deck's so good. Like, we can just record over this, I guess. We'll do that in a minute. And also, like, yeah, I could be excited for Draco Tal, but I'm not. I don't think it necessarily makes Master Duel better to like replace. It's kind of like Jeff said. Like Draco Tal is an insane deck. It's even better in a Maxx C format because Altharion can just loop your Maxx C. So the fact we have 2 Maxx C with Altharion, it just means Branded Draco is going to be an absurd deck to go against. And they also have the ability to lock with the Eyes of Blue with Sanctifier. So with like literally any 2-card combo. So Retaliating C everywhere. Oh yeah, that's the thing. Also look forward to Retaliating C in a Master Duel format near you. To be fair, that's currently the TCG. However, that's only in the side deck. So I also think Retaliating C makes the pile version of Branded Draco, which is the version we would play, impossible to play. Because if you get hit by Retaliating C on your Rahu, you just lose when you don't have hand traps to follow up on that. Like the pure version does that runs 2 Branded Fusion. I know some people like the 2 Branded Fusion Draco Tal deck. It doesn't feel like branded to me. It's just glorified Draco Tal, and once again, that's okay. I find Draco Tal to be fairly boring. Like I like spicing in a Draco Tal engine that allows my branded deck to have a higher ceiling, which is high ceiling is not synonymous with pure Draco Tal, right? Draco Tal doesn't have a high ceiling effect. I forgot what effect stands for, but like I wasn't saying, I don't know if you're saying, if you're talking, I don't know, but if that meant like you, like I was saying that. No, I was not saying Draco Tal. Like I said, Draco Tal does not have like a high ceiling. That's like the deck is very low to the ground, and I don't like that factor. I find the deck pretty boring for that reason. It's even more low to the ground than Branded Despia. Which is why I like combining the two, because I feel like it helps Branded more than it I'm not gonna say more, because 2 Branded Fusion is just absurd for Draco Tal. Ever since I thought they were never gonna print a Frixel because like it would just make Branded Fusion insane for that deck, and then they did. Maybe you don't like Yu-Gi-Oh? No, I love this game. I mean, like, I think you can criticize the things you love and like actually like suggest better things, and that's what I've been trying to do with this like, are we supposed to just be complacent? Not want the game to get better? Like, that's just like my, I don't know, like I've played the game for 20 plus years. I know the game doesn't have to be like this. Also, I think like the last ban list was great. And I think a lot of, and I've consistently said this, the changes that Konami are making makes the game a better time. But yeah, no, I don't like Master Duel though. I definitely don't like I mean, I don't know what would lead you to say I don't like Yu-Gi-Oh in general. I definitely don't like Master Duel though. Like, that's for sure. Like, sometimes I like like when I like Master Duel when I'm not just getting slammed to Maxx C, right? On the streams where we have like, we're not just like losing 80% of die rolls and stuff like that in the best of 1 format that they refuse to update after 5 years with anything meaningful. It's like, it goes back to the thing where it's like, no one's calling for like a new simulator for TCG. Like, if no one is, I'm going to like hopefully start that conversation, because that should happen. Like, do we not want our game to get bigger? Like, I think like I've always talked about this, but if Yu-Gi-Oh had the kind of dev communication that like Teamfight Tactics has, or like League of Legends does, like with Riot, like Riot are some of the most spot on dev, like finger on the pulse devs of their community. And I think that's why Genesis was so exciting to me, because it seemed like, they are trying to do that, where they're trying to give that kind of communication. I love Genesis. It's just like, ever since they nerfed Branded, that kind of killed my love for the format, and that's more or less just like, I mean, that's a personal issue. I think like Genesis is like, I also think Genesis is suffering from their own issues, to be fair, but like in theory, Genesis is actually like honestly what Yu-Gi-Oh needed on some level, because the power creep that Lynx and Pendulums created are just too much for the game. It's just like, I don't know what they want to do with Genesis. Do they want it to be a format that is just better modern, or do they want it to be like Hat in 2014? with like new cards. I think the latter is very hard to balance. Could Burst Protocol support for Branded make a YCS winner? I think so. I think with the new support for Burst Protocol, Branded has the opportunity to win a YCS for the first time since 3 Branded Fusion was legal in the TCG. I think since Branded Fusion went to 1, the deck has basically been gatekept from winning a YCS outside of just like having one of the most insane runs of all time, in my opinion. It's one of those decks. It's like Ryan Yu winning like with Striker at Niagara, like, except he still got second, right? But the burst support is so insane. Like, I think it puts it above 3 Branded Fusion Branded. So that's why I'm like... And it also fixes basically all the issues the deck had. If they made a TCG simulator and won't be as big as it was, they don't want that. I'm pretty sure there's a reason they didn't want to do that. I mean, yeah, I think the reason is because they don't want to take away from the player base on Master Duel. And also... because OCG Master Duel is basically the OCG ban list, right? Like when we're playing Master Duel, we're playing OCG format effectively, give or take a few different changes, but it really stays close to what the OCG does a lot of the time in terms of like balancing and that kind of philosophy. So that's why the OCG doesn't have a reason to make a TCG OCG simulator or add OCG format to Master Duel, because it's already OCG format. So, and I think the people who work on the TCG at Konami, they all play Dueling Book too. So it's like, and a lot of the pros are kind of just fine with Dueling Book because just the culture around Yu-Gi-Oh is so fucking solidified, where like we can't just like think of a way to like expand the game. We have to like stay on Dueling Book, right? Which is just like literally a flash game from 2005. And that's not like, I think Dueling Book is honestly once again the best resource the game has at the moment, but that's really just because of the lack of one from Konami themselves. And just, I think when you come down to it, when every other modern card game has a simulator online, like it is inexcusable when you juxtapose that for the TCG not to have an official simulator, right? Like, how is that the case when Yu-Gi-Oh is the 3rd most popular card game in the world, right? Pros would prefer DB over AutoSim anyway. Well, that's why I think the simulator... Well, that's why I was kind of implying, like, that's why we don't get a TCG simulator, because the people who run the TCG Konami, like, also play Dueling Book, right? Like, they are fine with Dueling Book. Like, that's why I said before, they just defer to Dueling Book instead of actually making a simulator. And that's why, like, when Dueling Network got taken down, it wasn't Konami doing it. It was, like, Shueisha. It was, like, the anime rights holders, I'm pretty sure. Someone can correct me, but, like, when Dueling Book, like, the version of Dueling Book that existed before 2016, I think, was called Dueling Network, and it got taken down because they used the images in the game, I guess because the images that they used. So basically all the images got taken off of DN or something, and then they made Dueling Book. I don't know what they did to get around that, but I'm pretty sure they just, like, do something different in every image of every card, so it differs from the real card or something, so that they can so they get around that. That's what I'm assuming, or like something on the card that gets around it, basically. Like, that wasn't Konami, like, you know, the people who design and like that was like a whole different part of Yu-Gi-Oh, or the Yu-Gi-Oh IP that like has nothing to do with the card game on some level. Funny how Genesis nerfed Branded to the ground, yet does nothing to Radiant, Typhoon, and Anima. I mean, that's just what put a terrible taste in my mouth about Genesis. I was like the biggest Genesis simp since the day it came out, because I was like, awesome. They made Branded a lot weaker than it is in the TCG, but still playable. And in it, like, I felt like I could still play into the top decks and have a chance. It wasn't like I was in favor. I think I still had like a 40-60 in favor of the MST deck. Like, Vanquish Soul had like a 90-10 in favor matchup against Branded. Like, you just could not win against Vanquish Soul at all playing Branded. And now that's how it is for all the top decks, unless you end up sacking them or they play like shit. That's just kind of what it is. Like, if you're going against an MST player that draws like good an Onomot player. Like, you literally just lose if you lose the die roll versus Onomot. Like, you lose. You don't have droll. Like, they sub Rongo and you lose. Like, a deck that cannot afford droll in this format, where Rongo is as popular in other like big fuck you decks that droll stops, like, your deck is not viable if you cannot run droll in that format. So, like, the fact they took away droll from a deck that had a top 8, a single top 8 as South American, South American YCS is 400 people, right? So the Invitational probably didn't have that many pods as opposed to a American YCS. Branded got top 8 at that. And they decided to nuke Branded, right? Like, off of like, from a tier 2 kind of spot, and they put it to tier 4 in my opinion. Like, whatever that would be, like maybe tier 3, like bottom of tier 3. It's like, I talked about this in my one Genesis video, but I would literally take every tier 2 deck over Branded at the moment in Genesis that you can think of. I'd take Madolche over Branded. You can main droll. Wallace, so that's not what I'm referring to. It's more so, what are you going to do about it? Like, keep being sad or be proactive and enjoy the game. No, I agree. I think, like, that's why I have to just that's why I stopped streaming Master Duel for 6 months, guys. Like, when Master Duel when Malice came out, like, we're at the end of that story now with Malice seemingly becoming unplayable, even though it's still going to be tier 2. So it's like, that's why I'm probably just gonna transfer back over to doing more TCG content. It's not like I was doing a ton of Master Duel content. We were doing, like, a lot of these Master Duel streams, because it's just a way better streaming experience. But, like, it's just getting to the point where, like, I hate Master Duel so much that, like, it makes for a bad viewing experience for you guys, and I don't want to just be negative on the game because I do love Yu-Gi-Oh, right? And when I play TCG, I'm usually quite positive. The last time I was negative about TCG, I think, and you can probably go through all my streams and see this, was before they released the ban list, because I was like, there's like 7 FTKs in the format. What are we doing? And then they fixed it. I was like, barring them doing something that they never do and give us an emergency ban list, the TCG is currently, like, unplayable, and then they made it playable. Like, TCG at least has interaction. Like, the interaction, the worst parts of TCG are really just Fua right now, and there's only 3 of it versus 5 Maxx C. So I think that's, like, automatically a higher standard of just, like, skill expression off the bat, right? You're having less games just decided to 1 card. So definitely switching back to TCG. I might do, like, 1 Master Duel stream a week, but, like, for instance, I don't care about getting Master 1 anymore this format. I'm not going to push myself to do that. Yenma Kai, I think Genesis format will divide the player base even further. I don't like solutions like that. That's the thing, like, they didn't set out, like, they set out, okay, they made a few articles where they were like, these are our goals for Genesis format, and then they proceeded to make two points adjust, or I'd say the second points adjustment list was way more, like, the first one was fine, frankly. The second one was the issue that, like, it's like, I thought we set out these goals for the format, and then you make a ban list that completely contradicts that. Not completely, but I'd say 50% of what the points list actually ended up doing to the point to some of the decks in, like, the decks they decide not to hit that were the most popular decks. Like, when you're saying, okay, if you do well with your Genesis deck, we aren't gonna hit it immediately. It needs to be something that happens a lot over time. And then they hit Branded before the card comes out. And it's like, okay, so if we're going to start hitting every card before it comes out, are we going to, like, well, okay, so, like, Branded's a whole nother issue, but it's like, the main issue is them, like, keeping around Onomot at full power, Dracotal at full power, MST at, like, full power, right? And I'm pretty sure, like, the quote was yesterday's gameplay today. So it's like, there's a whole lot of just, like, differing philosophies they're putting through. Like, they just don't have a clear idea. If we don't have a clear idea, like, they obviously don't have a clear idea of what they want for the format. So I think they have to make some hard decisions. Like, are they just going to nerf every deck from now and put this power to, like, a 2015 2014 standard where every deck is going to suck, every deck is going to have points adjustments, and we're going to have to learn how to do that meta? That's an interesting meta, but that's also very difficult to do. Like, there are 500 points or cards adjusted on the list, and it is there would need to be like 5,000 like to properly do that. Like probably 2,500, but like genuinely you would have to do a way more balancing to get that kind of thing perfect, because then like once new decks come out, they automatically become good, right? So, and they're just like half in between right now on what they're doing with that, when they're still leaving like Draco Tal full power, right? It's not full power, but guys, like look at those Draco Tal lists and tell me like the difference between what they are making between modern you know, besides just like branded fusion, because they can't run branded fusion. Like they got something with Genesis if they don't fuck it up. Yeah, I mean, I already think that they're already like, it's just so confused. Like I don't think they have a clear image of like what they want for the format. MD is fun, but sometimes hand doesn't like what we wanted to against opponents. Back from smoke, holy fuck, it's cold, I hate New York. Yo, Brody, I know, right, it's so cold in New York. Brody, are you in New York City or upstate? Solbrecht, do you think side decking being removed would be a healthy format to its best of 3 in TCG, or is it's because you will not have the tight cards to counter the annoying cards your opponent has? Well, that's what I think like the best of 3 attempts to do is attempts to solve the issues of I mean, I don't know, that's what it attempts to do in modern. It attempts to fix a lot of like the issues that modern has, but at the end of the day, I think like post side you should not lose going first, like with how broken like some of the side ins you should have essentially from your side deck. So when that's a dynamic, like I think best of 1 has the potential to be better than best of 3, frankly. It's just that it's like someone said in the chat before, they don't do best of 1 correctly. If you're going to do best of 1, you literally have to remove every single floodgate and like remove these cards that are just like Maxx C deciding a best of 1 game, right? Like that should not be a card in the game if it's going to decide. Like everything's riding on this one game, except this one game is decided by a card. And so that's why some people are like, oh, let's get best of 3 in Master Duel. Because there's Maxx C, and it's like, okay, so I get sacked by Maxx C game 1, games 2 and 3 I can again attempt to play around it, but like Maxx C is such a ubiquitous card that I think it's like less so of an issue in TCG because there is no Maxx C, and Fuwalos is really just the issue. But then like post side, it's like, that's why I'm glad they removed D barrier, because like D barrier was the most absurd thing post side. It made it, and that's why like anti-spell fragrance, Tisabu, Rivalry, like these cards have been issues in the last 2 or 3 years because of the side deck kind of just like giving players the option to tell your opponent to fuck off going first, right, through hand traps. Syracuse, it's hellish. Oh yeah, I forgot you said you were in Syracuse. Yeah, that's like 2 or 3 hours from me. Personally, also, to end that Genesis discussion, I'd prefer it to just be a better modern, because I think modern is frankly cooked. Like, on some level, I still... although, with the TCG releasing that last ban list, that gave me a lot more hope. Like, before that ban list, I was like, it's definitely cooked. So I'm not going to say it's cooked, but, like, I thought they made that because they're like, okay, the OCG doesn't let the designers of the TCG have the format they want. So we're going to make a format that's modern without all the bullshit, and we get to balance it every month like Master Duel, and we don't have to ask John Konami over in Japan for approval on every single thing. And, you know, this is why purportedly, this is why ban lists take 4 to 6 months, right? That's why I'm surprised we got the emergency ban list. I'm in Montana, it's cold AF here, says Wallace. I think the point is to make decks that are new playable. Like, for example, Killer Tune could also be a decent Genesis deck. I think the issue with that is that the OCG does not design around Genesis, and those decks will become playable eventually. Like, we all already... I will put money on Killer Tune, Hecka Hands, and Enacraft getting absurd legacy support in the next main set after Burst Protocol. I will put money on that, almost. I'm not as certain about that as... the one thing I bet $1,000 on before, Branded winning a Genesis YCS Invitational. So, like, when that's the case, it's like, what do we want to do with the format? Like, do we just want it to be better modern? And if it's better modern, then we should just, like, probably have Maxx C and Fua just like where they are, or just have like Fua be 5. Like honestly, Fua should be less on some level, which is funny coming from me with the Fua thing, but like the going second in Genesis is more cooked than Modern at the moment, because so many decks can't afford non-engine. So it's like I said, either we go to like 2014 format where you run Fua and your deck sucks, or like there is no in between. Like, is Fua good or is Fua not in your deck? And if Fua is good, then like we're in a format where like I don't know, just like the power is just so strong, and it's just weird to hit me to hit decks like Branded, and like I don't know. I think one of the, like, a lot of people were like pushing back on me about like saying Branded was overhit because they're like, you know, Konami didn't make this format to give more modern decks, and to give modern decks more light. It's like, to me, like Branded hasn't been meta, or sorry, like more meta decks light, and Branded hasn't been meta in literally 2 years, right? Since Branded Fusion was at 3. And then you just see like Drake, like it's just very disproportionate, right? Like it's very confusing when you see Draco's Hell like and all these decks like doing well. So it just doesn't make sense to me. To me, it would be the easiest thing to make it a better modern, but then you're taking away from the modern player base when Konami is showing that they're trying to attempt to fix modern. It's just such a balancing act that is going to be interesting to see what happens over the next 5 years, right? Like I said a year ago, 6 months ago, that the next year, couple years with Yu-Gi-Oh are going to be very interesting, like to see how it all works out. Yo, Branded lost. I'm surprised it's cold in Montana, but I guess it is more northern. I have also been streaming a bit too much. I mean, I love streaming this much, but I don't know. It is one of those things that I wish that there was a TCG simulator that was easy to stream. What's the biggest problem with Master Duel for now? Oh my, we literally just explained that the last one. I know you probably just came here, but if you're talking about the biggest problem with Master Duel, if you're asking, it's Maxx C. Like it's just Maxx C. Like I don't think it's really that complicated. I think that the game has a lot of other issues between not actually innovating on the game at all and adding more value to this game and more like replayability. I think the actual Master Duel format is an issue when it's Master Duel so pushed over like giving us a TCG simulator, but that's not like a Master Duel issue itself that Master Duel has to deal with. So it's mainly like Maxx C. I think if Maxx C got banned tomorrow, this is where I was implying before, where best of one has the chance of being better than best of 3, because you won't have, because best of 1 disincentivizes floodgates, right? If you're going second in a best of 1 with a floodgate in your deck, you're just actively choosing to run a brick, which makes your deck worse going second, right? So it's like a deck building concession. Whereas in best of 3, it's really not, because you can just side it out games 2 and 3. But Maxx C just like makes it so much worse. So I think if Maxx C was banned tomorrow, Master Duel becomes insanely better. Fuelos, I will say though, as much as I dislike Fuelos not giving draws off of summons from hand and graveyard makes it objectively worse than Maxx C, I think, unfortunately. Like, because the fact, like, at least with Fuelos, you can set up your board, right? Like, with cards on your board with quick effects, right? Like, with Snatchy, with, like, Cartesia, with Malulu. Like, you have so many cards that you can just have out, and Maxx C doesn't give a fuck, right? Because they're going to be like, oh, you're special summoning from your hand? Okay, give me a draw, give me a draw. You can't play on these half boards. So, like, that's why I think TCG is immediately just so much better, is because you can play with half boards on Fua where you can't with Maxx C a lot of the time, unless you just draw a God Hand. Do we think much of the player base is even opposed to Maxx C being banned? Surely everyone is in the same boat. Well, I mean, I think the reason why people are like floodgates exist in the game, Maxx C exists in the game, is because Yu-Gi-Oh is so unapproachable to new players, where it takes like 6 months to a year for you to actually get to a level where you can like play pretty comfortably. Like, let's just say if you've never played Yu-Gi-Oh before, so Maxx C and Fua and like these floodgates allow newer players to be able to have shortcuts to winning games instead of just playing like Vanadium or like Yummy Mitsurugi or like these decks that have like 50,000 combo lines that you have to like memorize while also knowing interaction points in all the meta decks in a game that has a 20,000 plus card pool, right? That you have to know mostly what they all do, right? To like have it to go through a YCS, right? Like, I mean, you can skip some formats, but like if you just skipped like 5 years of Yu-Gi-Oh, you will get skill diffed to a card you did not read at some point, right? And that's like that's why Yu-Gi-Oh is such a skill intensive game, and I will always give the props to the pros who are able to go through 12 rounds of like Yu-Gi-Oh and still perform, because it really is like a mental marathon, like regionals and YCSs. So I don't think most people are opposed, but also I don't think most of the casual players care about Maxx C being banned, and maybe that's why we don't see it get banned, because obviously Konami has heard like you know, like from the player base. If you log on to YouTube like and search Master Duel or Yu-Gi-Oh, I'm pretty sure in the first 5 videos you will find a video that says Maxx C is ruining the game, or Maxx C should be banned, or how is this not banned yet, right? Like, I'm sure Konami, and also they do these surveys where like I see people always tweet on the survey, ban Maxx C, ban Maxx C. Like, I think all the world's competitors this year were asking like, if there was one change to Yu-Gi-Oh, what would you make? And like 90% of them put down Maxx C being banned. Like, they are just being stubborn. Like, that is just the biggest stubbornness, and it's just like, that's why it's just frustrating with Yu-Gi-Oh with Yu-Gi-Oh sometimes, where the dev to player communication is just not there. That's why, and that's with the OCG mainly, and there's a language barrier, so I can understand that. It's not like, I don't think the OCG devs don't give a fuck, right? Like, I think they want their game to be the best, but like, they are catering to the OCG audience, which is a different audience than TCG. That's just why the IP should be, or they should just be completely split at this point, because like the TCG not having the reins to do what they want, it hurts the game a lot. I don't know, if they just let the TCG do what they wanted, I feel like we'd have a lot better of a situation, because with Billy Break, Jerome, whoever else is over there at the Konami TCG right now, you know, the people in Europe who kept Time Wizard alive, shout out to them, the unsung heroes, because TCG Konami killed that. But you know, these people I think have a pretty good idea of what like we see with Genesis, right? Like, I think Genesis is a product of them wanting to do better.